1. And we're live.
It's WUFO! Yay!
18 weeks.
Can you believe it?
Amazing.
18. I cannot believe that.
That's pretty wild.
It is.
And
It's our friend Vanessa here too. What'd you say, Jeremy?
Oh, I just said it's only gotten like more fun each time. I mean,
Yeah.
it's always been fun, but like the momentum continues.
Well, I sort of feel like this is a long-term magical working, and the more people that you get involved in it, the more good energy and the more playfulness. And so, of course, it's just going to be exponentially more fun each week.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hope so.
I know. I say that. I'm like, ooh, should have said that after my episode as opposed to before.
Oh, you're in it now.
Yes, you are. And we have Jenny, we have Kaj, we have our friends here this evening. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Hi, Jenny.
Contact session here. We're gonna hang out until about 10 p.m. We just start off by talking about the previous week, talking about what each of us are doing for WUFO this evening. I always like hearing if our special guest has any sort of UFO or alien encounters. So hopefully we can get into some of that. But yeah, welcome to WUFO. Oh, it looks like we got a couple Alexes in. Oh, hello. We got the Brian. Oh, yeah. So we've just been hanging out. We're just we're shooting it, and yeah, I'm a little sleepy. I'm trying to get the energy up, but I have just been thinking all day about these clouds.
These clouds?
Sorry though, the clouds outside. Yeah.
Oh, that are preventing you from looking at the sky.
Yeah, it's been. You know what? It's been cloudy at least the last 2 or 3 WUFOs here, at least on my peninsula, and yeah, I'm just super excited to be able to see something soon. Yeah, I'm really excited. I have a new looking spot I want to go try out.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we usually have our special guest friend give like a little brief intro for people who haven't like experienced the joy of knowing you yet.
Thank you. All right, well, my name is Vanessa Valiuco. I am new to being friends with weirdos, but I've been interested in weird things for most of my life. I used to make chainmail for a living. I still do on the side. And I'm one of the co-organizers of Pan which is an online paranormal conference devoted to diversity and inclusion and making sure that all weirdos are welcome in these spaces. And I also host Personal Pans, which is a fun ADHD-fueled podcast where I usually talk to ex-evangelicals. Just kind of works out that way. Yeah.
That's true.
No,
it's good. It's fun, and it's like I love the conversational tone of the podcast. It's so cool because it was just like, oh, we're hanging out, chatting about interesting stuff, and we dig that.
And that it's funny because I only just realized a couple weeks ago that as soon as I heard about French salons, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to have some sort of space for that. And I always imagined it as some sort of cafe, but with the pandemic and everything, it's just, my podcast is basically what I wanted in my late teens. Just realized. So it's very exciting. All I care about is talking about ideas, ultimately. If I could just do that all day, I would.
Oh, I love it. I love to. I've said this a few times, but it's just so true that I have to say it again. But I truly feel this. Vanessa is my favorite like podcast interviewer out there. I don't say that to just, but it's the way that you ask questions. It's so I can only describe it as like intuitive. And it's something that I only really see in like people like Jim Perry. There's just a certain level of questioning that goes beyond like language, and you just feel it out, and I've taken that ride with you, and it's just been, it was so free flowing and loose, and I love that, because there's been other situations where I just freeze up because it's like so, I don't know, and it's something about your intuition and the way that you communicate non-verbally too that just makes me feel so relaxed and like I'm happy to talk to this person. They're interested in what I'm saying. This is going to be a good time. And so my favorite interviewer.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Of course. Just gushing over here.
Well, I mean, I appreciate it, you know. Especially because I spent so much time just on my own with all of these interests. And so it has been it's been very exciting to get to know all of you specifically, but doing this podcast for all the people that I didn't know or only just kind of knew online, I do feel like I make a new friend every single time. There's somebody I want to hang out with. I mean, obviously, the next time I'm in the Pacific Northwest, you all have to hang out with me. I've already decided that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just it's joyful, and I like giving space for people to talk about the things that they're passionate about, because that gets me excited. I especially, again, both of you know, I care about play, I care about conversations, I care about excitement and curiosity. And so if somebody wants to, whatever you want to talk about, if you're passionate about it, chances are I'm going to listen, and I'm going to have some follow-up questions, because that's what I care about.
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh, Shell's here. Hi, Shell. Another one of
Hey.
my favorite people in this little community of ours. It's, I'm so glad too, because the whole UFO thing that's been going on in Congress, it makes me so happy that like this is the side of like the paranormal online universe that we ended up on, which is like not that side. Which, if you are on that, so if you're interested in disclosure and government, what they know and all that stuff, that's fine. But like, I like to like watch Garrett dancing around in a shrimp costume. That's for my speed.
Watch humanity be imperfect because it's real.
Yeah, watch humanity be real. And again, for me, I think the phenomena is so much bigger and intangible, ineffable than we can describe, right? Anything that we see or experience is going to be filtered through our brain that has evolved to operate in three-dimensional space in a linear time dimension. There's a book called Surfing Through Hyperspace, and it talks about this idea of higher dimensional beings. And if something is existing in 4 spatial dimensions, we're only ever going to perceive 3-dimensional cross sections of those things. So, and our language, which is something that we have invented with these brains, is only ever going to capture parts of what things are. And since I come from looking at this from this perspective of everything is imperfect knowledge anyway, I'd rather just have some intuitive, playful fun with it rather than trying to box everything up and say, oh, here we have an answer. There are no answers. Everything is chaos. And I love it. That's where I thrive.
Chef's kiss. Love it. I love it. Oh, I see here in the comments something about tech pro. Oh, we need to offer the gremlins, the tech gremlins.
Someone's TV blew up, apparently.
Someone's so.
Or it turned off.
Oh, okay.
I was being a little dramatic.
I got so excited for a second.
Yeah, that makes what I was about to say really less interesting. I was gonna be like, we have some really wild tech phenomenon. No explosions though, so I'm just
yeah.
Sorry, y'all.
Fingers crossed. Maybe tonight's the night.
Yeah, you guys are fun. Oh my goodness. So I am super curious, Vanessa. I'm just so curious. Have you personally had any sort of like UFO encounters or anything that you'd feel comfortable sharing I love these stories so much.
So I've never seen anything. My grandfather did though, and he only ever told this story once because while he was telling the story, my grandmother was making fun of him, and it was such a shame because he was talking about how once during his work break at work, he was on the roof. He was a factory worker, and he was on the roof with some friends, and they saw some object in the sky. And again, I don't have very clear details about this because my grandmother was just making fun of him the whole time, and he shut down. But after he passed, and I was going through all of his things, there was a stack of paperbacks about UFOs from the 70s, which I of course rescued and have on my to read pile, which is a good like 100 books deep. So clearly whatever he saw left an impact crater on his psyche because he was trying to figure out what it was for years afterwards. So that, and again, I find it sad that I never got that full story out of him because now I know all these people who are into UFOs, and they might have had some insight for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing for me is that my mom tells me is that when I was little, before I could speak, I would just sit at the window and look up at the sky at night and just babble to myself. Yes. And then I don't have it. I am probably seeing my mom this weekend, so I will try to get this. When I was young, all I used to draw were these giant heads with giant eyes. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Whatever, but it was just these disembodied heads and eyes, and that was it, and just pages and pages and pages of this.
Oh my goodness.
Does she have copies of that still, or?
She bound all of them in a like one of those office binders so that they're all in one place.
Oh wow! I want to see this.
Yeah.
You publish your zine of alien heads, all their alien heads.
Of course.
That's the best idea ever.
I had thought about a couple of years ago of like maybe doing like giant watercolors and then recreating those heads, but just in bigger scale.
Right.
Yeah, because they're bizarre. Again, I'm an Aquarius. I've just always been strange, but they're a little odd.
Or it'd be cool if we could like try to contact some of those beings that are from your drawings.
I would love that. Perfect.
That would be so cool.
Yes.
Maybe you can reconnect with one in a way that like some old memory or something.
Oh my God, yes, please.
Okay, Garrett.
I know. Applause for that idea. Oh my God.
Wait a second though, but you said they were bizarre. Are we talking like cover of Communion bizarre? Because I didn't really want to go.
Oh, I mean, they are vaguely grayish. Yes.
Yeah.
It's just line drawings, just heads and eyes. So
yeah,
let's do that.
I think that would be amazing.
Amazing.
It's a good goal.
I love this. I want this so badly.
Is this going to be some kind of regression this evening?
If only I had the goggles that Jason made, the brain machine.
Oh yeah.
Yes, those are awesome. We actually I got to mess with them once when the last time we were all together. But I had a really hard time with them. I don't know what my deal was. Maybe it was just that we were like on a public park path.
People walking by.
Oh man, that was so
I
fun.
just couldn't connect for some reason.
I wonder why.
I've been wanting to do this, do like a street, like busking, but like a street Estes method where you just kind of like a street oracle and you're just sitting there on the sidewalk, spouting it out blindfold, and people could come walk up to you and ask you questions and you don't even know who they are. And they're just, I think that would be so cool.
Would you put out a little
hat
or something?
Yeah,
put a little hat out. Just sit there and like spouting weird.
Instead of like putting a hat out, like put a sign up that like asks people to bring you pine cones or something.
Yeah.
Like, instead of money, like,
I only accept pine cones. I just think it'd be such a cool image. You know, I really want to do it in Bremerton where people would be like really freaked out, I think. But I think it was so cool just to be like on the street and like against a wall and shouting. And we have that sign that has like the letters you can put in, and it could have like what to do, you know, like just ask questions. I think it would be really neat. I think like make like Estes method like public, you know, and I just think that's interesting because we did it kind of in the park. We went to the rest, and you know, I was like, I had no idea, but they said that people were walking by. As
it was really interesting. I was under because I don't go under, but these guys went under, and there was this couple walking, like they were coming towards us, and like right before they got to where we were, Garrett, who was like totally under. And were you listening to Tenny Noise at that time, Garrett?
No, I was listening to Bex of the Spirit Box.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you were listening to the Spirit Box. He turned around and faced away from them, and then they walked by, and like as soon as they were gone, he turned around.
But I had no idea. I had this feeling that I needed to face the forest or something because I was trying to communicate. Like maybe I shouldn't have my back turned. So it was just at the same time, I guess. It's weird. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if that's why I got that feeling though or something, or I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. I don't know. It was really interesting, like watching it happen. And then the other person who walked by was a woman who was like training her dog. And the dog was, like, she was like using what we were doing as an opportunity, I think, to get her dog to like get really close to her and walk faster.
Good practice.
He was like, okay, come on, near me. No, close to me. Keep going. Like,
yeah, exactly. Don't engage.
Whoops. I wanted to show everyone, speaking of just that day, I want to show everyone that weird like artwork that we found.
Oh yeah.
After I started yelling at those dogs. We were in the Black River Riparian Forest, and we were going to do an LSO session there. So it's our liminal spirit oracle. So we were literally going to ask questions and gather things, you know, for answers. And we find this artwork.
It's very hard to see.
I'll read it after. But it has like a weird drawing of people. It says
Black River asks and answers. River ripples and answers, and it has this like weird, almost looks like the cave painting in Twin Peaks.
I know.
Yeah,
it's getting extra bad now. Okay.
Yeah,
and we were going there specifically to like ask the Black River, like, what's your deal? Why did these oranges keep showing up? Like, you know, all these questions. Yeah. And then we saw this sign that said this. We were like, what? Right, and like right after that, we found a pile of intestines.
That's right.
Like some animal in the grass.
Yeah.
We're just like, what is going on? It was great. It was a really wild experience.
It was.
Yeah.
And we found like a really rare flower that was like native and important to the area way back in the day. And we were like, holy crap. There was just one growing, and Jeremy's like, oh, that's this flower. I can't remember the name.
It's camas.
Camas. Yeah. And then we kept going down the trail, and we found like a whole bank of camas. It was really encouraging, but there was something so beautiful about that moment where we were seeing it. We were like, holy crap, this is camas, and Jeremy's giving us like information on the plant, and it was just such a beautiful moment. And so that whole trip we were walking down, it was a roller coaster of ups and downs. Like, I see this duck attacking these babies, and I'm like, you get away! and then
shouting at a mallard.
Yeah, I was like, you get away from those babies. And then the guys are like 100 yards ahead of me, and I'm like, I see that sign, and I'm like, what am I looking at right now? So I get them, and then we turn around and we see intestines, and then we turn another corner and we see this rare flower, and it's just like
it was like all these different symbols or something as we were going along. It was really wild. Like I felt like the intestine is like, do you have guts or something? It was almost like a warning or something. Like, are you ready for this or something? It was a weird, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're cutting it all up. It was a lot of footage though.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's where you got the orca stuff happens too.
Yes.
And
same.
I just saw that comment that David put up that there were orcas on the East Coast.
Yes, Katie sent me something like that too. I will put this up for everyone to see it. There was a rare orca sighting in Massachusetts.
That is so interesting.
And the Katie said it hasn't happened in like 30 years or something.
Yes. Yeah. Katie sent me that this morning. She was like, listen, like, this is so wild because it's within the same week that we were like, orcas, come to us.
Yeah, right.
Come to us, please. And, you know, it started with just Garrett and I on a ferry boat, and we were saying that, and then the ferry back we saw them. And so
That's it.
that's
yeah.
what sparked everything, and now they're in Massachusetts.
I love it.
Oh my goodness. So let me get that out of here. Okay. So we are going, for those just joining, we were kind of shooting ideas around, and we're going to attempt to contact the entities that Vanessa used to paint when she was a child.
Are we gonna try that?
We're gonna try that
Want to
tonight.
do that? I mean, I don't.
I'm game, 100% game for that.
We can
Yeah.
also, I don't know. It's hard for me to know what without knowing what the images look like. I'm a visual person.
Are you
But
gonna
it doesn't
make
matter to
me
me. I'm
like
not.
draw?
Oh yeah, you draw one now.
Yeah, right.
We have the original artist.
I
here
I should do it with my
Yeah.
left hand, right?
Yeah.
Because it's, or maybe I'll just like
Yeah.
hold the pen like this. It's like,
Oh my gosh, Orca says, oh, what the hell am I doing here?
We accidentally teleport an orca.
it's so most of the time they were just kind of like that.
Ooh.
Ooh, just
Yeah.
eyes, no mouth, no nose.
Well, I want to say some are closer to this, but I will, like, I need to get this from my mom's place to the folder of channeling.
Yeah.
Oh, Michelle's gotta leave. Bye.
Hi, Shell.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us for you. Oh, that's spooky.
Yeah.
Like I said, gray adjacent, yes. But always just heads, just floating heads in space.
Perfect.
Yeah. Not like that Rick and Morty episode, you know, show me what you got. Am I the only Rick and Morty?
I don't do.
No,
That's fair.
we just rewatched recently. I should know this.
It's the reality show episode where
It's
Okay.
on my list, but I have so much else on the list that.
prioritize what matters to you, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Always good advice. Alex, did Bex see the same orcas that showed up? Maybe. Oh my goodness. So interesting. We're hopping from orcas. So just talking about last week for a second. Folks, like last week we used a few different live audio streams of hydrophones that were submerged in places where orcas were known to hang out. And so we were hoping that we would get like some orca sounds and could try to communicate with them with like our usual entity communication methods that we do every week. And so I don't know, I think it's so cool that we did something like that, just like foundation. But jumping off of that, I haven't been able to watch the session back all the way yet. And so as someone who was under, I don't really remember any of the responses or anything. And so I didn't know if anything stuck out to Jeremy or Garrett, if you have any specific impressions from last week, just carrying that over into this week. Yeah, I'm so interested just because it was a very specific and random theme, and it was a little different than normal WUFO. So I'm curious about how we could kind of deliver some updates and then see how we can maybe bring some of that in. Yeah, I'm just formulating tonight and thinking.
Well, there are two things from last time. I remember I've been thinking all week about how we kept getting the silence card, and then I got the Men in Black card, and that made me think about how the Men in Black come to silence you a little bit, and that maybe, but we were talking about silence as this good thing. And then we got that Men in Black card, and then I was it just made me put that in a different perspective of maybe like the idea that they're silencing you is maybe to like go inward more instead of like, you know, talking out to everyone and trying to get feedback or whatever, or get I don't know, like get like or have your story validated instead of just like making it more internal and personal, you know. So it's just like flip what the Men in Black is. It doesn't have to be this negative thing, I guess. So that was just an interesting thing last time. And the other thing is that the morning after WUFO, I woke up and I found a rock in my bed. So I don't know what that means. I have it here. I don't know if it's some kind of gift or just my 8-year-old left it there. We did change the sheets just that night, so I don't know.
Okay, but the phenomenon also could have been working through your 8-year-old to
Right,
make
that's
sure
true.
you got
That's
that
true.
rock.
Made sure he got there. It was just like a weird, you know, I like threw the covers off, groaned, and then saw this rock laying there, and I was like, "What is that?"
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know. Could be a gift. We were talking a lot about gifting though too.
Yeah,
last time.
yeah. Gifting, I think, is like a super important thing that has come up out of all of these sessions we've done, is like the idea of gifting and like sharing and there being a back and forth. It's almost like you know, to go back to the whole liminal ecology thing, like you're not reaching out to someone that's like out of network. There's no reason to treat, like, you don't need to dial long distance as often anymore. Like, you're part of a network, and so there has to be an exchange. It can't just be like you expecting something back for no reason.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Because you can't just go around. I mean, you can, but I don't know what the results are. Going around just demanding certain things. It's a lot more interesting to, again, act like you're having a conversation as opposed to just barking orders and expecting. I don't know. I mean, they'll put rocks in your bed either way, so just be nice to them.
Yeah, right. It makes me think though a little bit about like, it's kind of colonialist, like, to go in and just be like, I order you, you know, to do what I say because, you know, I have more power than you, and like demand things of spirits, and or even like on certain shows where they go in and just assume everything's a demon and shout at it, and you know, like that's very like imperialistic in a way to me.
It 100% is. Yes. And it's you know, because we talked about this, like, okay, are we having an exchange here? You know, if we're talking in terms of a trickster and play, right? Again, I keep thinking in terms of like phenomena, as when Bex was talking about mushrooms, right? Like they're kind of amoral. They have their own systems, and maybe they just react based off of what we're giving it, right? So if you're running into a place and calling everything a demon, and you're spewing all of this hateful negative energy, whatever's there is probably thinking, oh, this is how this person wants to play. Okay, I'm going to start throwing things around and making loud noises and scaring this thing, this creature that has wandered into my space, because this is how they want to play. Again, it's a lot nicer to just be gentle and silly and hope that echoes back. That's it's a much gentler way of engaging with the universe, and I think a more peaceful way. And again, get little gifts sometimes, just little nuggets of like, hello, hi.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
it is. It's so true though, and I found too that the WUFOs are pretty exciting when we take the time, and like Katie was even recommending that if we are to offer something, make sure it's something that we pour some like labor, sweat into, like really take the time to put your intention into what you're going to give. And even if it's something that's store-bought, just sitting there with it and being like, this is for communication and I'm so excited for this, you know, and just pumping it full. And I find that when we do things like that for WUFO, we have such exciting experiments and results. And so I'm trying every week, like if there's like a food item I'm really excited about, like these pine berries, I try to save some for them. And so I'm kind of treating these WUFO and these alien entities like back in the days when folks were preparing, they're saving their harvest and they would save like a percentage of it for the Fae and for their gnomes and things. Like they would actually calculate that in their crop for the year, like this much goes to them. And so I'm finding that WUFO is naturally making me do that with like my own crop right now. So except it's for aerial entities. And and gifting comes up in like the Estes sessions and stuff too, and it's been both ways. It's been asking and receiving. It's cool.
Yeah.
You know what that reminds me of is what you were saying about, because that's true about the like 1/3 for us, 1/3 for the gods, and 1/3 for the crows, whatever it was. It was something like that. It was an actual practice that they did, and it is like an offering to the crows. But what it makes me think of is like when I'm planting stuff in the garden, I'll plant like a bunch of nasturtiums or like a couple of like let a couple of like broccolis or brassicas go for a while in like a corner, because those are the aphids' favorite foods. So they can have those, and then I don't get them on the rest of the plants that I want to eat, that I don't want them. And it's, in a way, it's almost like you're saying like, hey, I'm honoring you and feeding you. Stay over there. Don't come on to like my, tomatoes or cabbages. And I'll continue to do this throughout the year. And I see, I mean, obviously it's all just like, it could very well be confirmation bias, but I really do feel like the aphids don't come on my other plants that much, or the slugs, or, I plant offerings to these beings so that they leave my food alone.
And it works.
And it works. It seems to work. Yeah.
That's wild.
Well, yeah, as you said, you've made this agreement essentially with whatever spirit's energy, whatever you want to call it, is in the land. So it's honoring the agreement. I kind of love that.
Yeah, it seems to work.
Yeah.
So, 2 things. One, it's 9 o'clock. I didn't know if we were going to do Tiki Talkie.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, do we want to take a moment before we go too far and talk about the cause of the week?
Yes. Give me.
Yeah.
We are going live on TikTok. Hello, everyone on the TikTok world. Okay, let me get everything pulled up here. I'm actually going to take a drink of this. Yes, let me pull up the WUFO here. Hello, everyone on TikTok. We are live for the WUFO Wednesday night UFO watch. It's week 18. Thanks for joining us. So this week we like, who do we want to redirect? We have a weekly page, wufo.watch/donate, and every week it'll feature a different fund that we typically our guests actually help pick out. And this week we decided to go with Amanda Woomer. You may know her as Spook Eats. She's gathering a variety of resources together, both through PayPal and Venmo, and she's also redirected us to a specific organization, but it's to help those who were affected the tragedy at Buffalo just a few days ago. And she has been killing it over there. She's born and raised in Buffalo and is getting a bunch of groceries for people. She's been helping direct donations towards like funeral costs. It's been absolutely amazing to see what she's been doing. And we want to help support her in that. So we have a few different ways that you can help. The big one being wufo.watch/donate, and that'll redirect you to Black Love Resists in the Rust. They're based out of Buffalo, and they work to help people find like mental health help, and they also help make sure that folks get like fresh food and groceries. And it's specifically the Black community that they love reaching out to the most. So yeah, Spook Eats, SPOOKEATS on Venmo and PayPal. You can send her money directly as well, and that'll go directly to the families and the community directly affected. Yeah, perfect. We got a link. We got a link. Okay.
Cool. I mean, awesome organization.
Yeah. And I'm just scrolling through the post here. I think that we need to just give a quick shout out to Jason. Some may know him in Synosia. Have y'all been seeing that 3D printed UFO?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. We have to talk about that for a second. And gosh, oh, my light just changed. They agree. Amazing. We changed that, but it's incredible. I'm excited to see like what he does with it painting wise and stuff. But yeah, it's like this amazing UFO.
It's darling. I can't wait to see what kind of travelers he puts inside.
Yeah.
Yes. We actually have a picture of it on the latest WUFO post. Y'all can check it out at wufo.watch. It'll be for week 18 on the 18th. I wonder what like the numerology, this is way out of my wheelhouse, the like numerology meaning for like an 1818, week 18 on the 18th. If there's any fun meanings there.
Any numerologists in the house? The 18th tarot card is the moon, right?
What did you say?
Isn't the 18th card major arcana the moon? I'm pretty sure it's the moon.
I don't know. The way to find
It
out.
is.
Google.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect.
I have 4 tarot decks in front of me here. So
Perfect. I love it.
Pretty sure that was the case. So,
but it's also really funny because, like I said, when I was a kid, I used to stare up at the sky, the moon, and the stars, and I would babble. So,
and we just had the eclipse.
Yes,
the one that Neil deGrasse Tyson despises.
No one cares about him. He's just a turd.
Yes.
That's my opinion.
Oh, real quick, did I talk about the UFO water stuff? Was that before we went live, or was that?
No, you should
Go
talk about
ahead,
that. Yeah,
yes.
we talked.
Can I? Okay,
Yeah,
so if everybody knows whether or not you're just joining us, so we have this thing we do called making UFO water, and it's like moon water, which there's the moon again. You leave it out, and it's imbued with the power or energies of whatever it sits under. So it can be the moon or whatever. So we decided we would do it for WUFO, and we're doing UFO water. So, you put out a jar or a bowl or a glass or something of water, and if any aerial entities pass over, the energies that they have will sort of be imbued into it. Well, I've been looking at grimoires a lot lately, just out of, personal curiosity, Cunning Man stuff, and I got this new grimoire, A Cunning Man's Grimoire. And there's this spell in it for capturing aerial entities in a glass of water, like a vessel of water. It does say that one option is to use a urinal, which meant something different back then. But so I thought, wouldn't it be interesting to have everybody make UFO water tonight, and then next week or the week after, we try that ritual to like summon or invite aerial entities into it. So I have to do some more research about it, because I want to do a couple of modifications to the ritual. So we'd have to find a way to share it for people who wanted to play along. Because I'm not going to use it exactly as it is in the book. But we were thinking it would be cool because we could invite these aerial entities into water, sort of how we invite microorganisms into our food when we make sauerkraut. And then we can take this water and try and scry in it, or do whatever you want to with it. But I think that would be really fun. So
Yes. I
um,
agree.
so tonight, if you haven't done the UFO water thing yet, or even if you have, just take any vessel of water. It doesn't have to be anything special. It could be, an empty beer can. It could be whatever you want. And just put the intention of having aerial entities imbue their energy into it and put it outside and leave it out overnight. And the next morning, you've got yourself some UFO water. You could put like a sigil on it if you wanted to. You could put the official WUFO sigil on it. You can find that at wufo.watch if you want to. But yeah, so we're thinking invite aerial entities into a glass of water that may or may not be a urinal. And then pour that water into a bowl to scry. And that's kind of how we roll around here.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
Mhm.
Invite. I like it.
Yes.
Yeah, invite to play.
I pulled the 18th card of this alien deck.
Nice.
It's the Syrians.
Ooh.
There are these moons up here.
Mhm.
Also, this is interesting. The Syrian beings were involved in ancient cosmic wars. And then it said cetacean, dolphin, whale, mermaid heritage originates from Sirius. So this 18th card is all about, has whale energy again.
Oh my gosh. That's
And
wild
They're
because we were
still
like,
with us.
is there a tie between the whales and the aliens? And that card is like, yep.
Right there.
Not only a tie, in origin.
Exactly.
That's wild.
Oh, we have somebody on TikTok say, watching from Seattle just across the waters. Love your content.
Love it.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone just joining us. We're pulling cards, getting ready to talk to contact aliens, aerial entities, extraterrestrials, whatever you want to call them. We're reaching out to any and every one of them.
Super intelligent birds.
Super intelligent birds. I pulled the water card, and now we have air cards, so it's funny. Just like list off the elements over here.
So my friend Allison has several Oracle decks, and one that I used when I did WUFO Oracle was her Soul Seeds deck.
Yes.
And I decided, like, okay, let me pull a card, and it was the Soul Seeds card. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
That represents the root of water, emotion, and then the air is intellect. Ooh, interesting. And then I pulled the Four of Swords and the mushroom deck there to show the TikTokers. Let's see what that means. Yeah, Garrett pulling that Syrians card is wild.
What is the soul seeds? I don't know about that. Can you
yes.
talk about that, Vanessa?
sure, yeah, let me. So its imagination is a doorway leading to new realms of inspiration and discovery. So for her, it's this idea of like so normally soul, like her business is soul trees, and it's like her tree paintings, and this is more of this like kind of cosmic connection in terms of using an oracle. So like I just pulled another card, and it was just astral. So yeah, like connecting to higher energies, like a higher sense of self. Yeah. And like the soul seeds, these ideas of these like those little cosmic puffs, right, throughout the universe. And again, gentleness, like it's clearly a theme of mine. But yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I checked out your friend's artwork, and it's just gorgeous. Gorgeous. What's the name of that oracle deck?
Oh, sure. This one is the Soul Seeds Oracle deck. Her business is Soul Trees. She does a lot of cool tree work. She has multiple Oracle decks. I've known her for 14 years, something like that. So anytime I get a chance to tell anybody else how cool she is, I will.
And now we're telling you guys.
Yeah.
That work is awesome.
So you got the Four of, was it swords you said?
Yeah, and I'm like reading the meaning, and we were just talking about last week and how silence came up, and the first sentence is a moment of silent repose. A giant old nurse log. It's just an ancient tree at rest, waiting for what is next. Use this moment to recover from what it was before and prepare for what is to come. Still side by side and floating above represent insight and internal work that could leave you paralyzed or energized to move forward into that shining light over the horizon. So I like this idea of like internal work, like Garrett was talking about, and then these water and air cards being like, you have to use the intellect, but you also have to use emotion. And so there's a lot of play here beneath the surface water pun.
I got one of our friends.
we get neither all the time.
People must think there's like 10 cards in this stuff.
I know, right? They're like,
We get
of
the
course
same,
they're
but no,
pulling them.
seriously, like
Yeah,
it's
there's so many
cards. And then the second one I got though was the Mountain, which actually we don't get that often, but that one's good. That was like one of the best cards in the deck as far as like finding, like the idea of like finding resources. So, you know, mountains as sources of like food and ore and, you know, water and that kind of thing. So that's actually a really good one to get.
Cool.
That is cool. Got a couple more here. I got the Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups, what are you doing? Okay. Oh, I wanted to tell you guys something cool before we like went into the other part of the session. Katie and I didn't have a show this week. We did something privately just to like keep the momentum going. She taught me how to like enter the Telyard realm, which is the realm that she talks about in like all of her podcasts. It's like that realm of like the dragons essentially, but that wasn't really my experience. But I had my first like astral experience where I could see like parts of myself. And it was because I was in this weird world where like everything's really dark and like volcanic feeling, and there's, you know, it's the Telyard realm. It's like supposed to be the center of the earth, you know, and I look and I see different people trying to cover me up with rocks and things. And I look down and it's because like I don't have scales like dragon or whatever, but I have like fish scales, and they're like the color of like Caribbean blue water. And I only saw like my stomach portion. I don't know what I look like other than that, except I had really long blue nails. And it was the most wild thing, you guys. And Katie spent like an hour before this being like, we have to meditate to this thing, and I have to read you this passage from this book. This is like, there's all these steps that you have to take. And so I was really excited to just be there. But then I'm like, this guy at the beach is trying to cover me up with these black rocks. And then I spend the majority of my time underwater looking for this door. And I was hiding a lot of the time. And it was really bizarre because Katie was up above and she was like in her dragon state, and I couldn't really see her. But then I found out that she blends in with the trees and everything. And so it was a very like amazing experience. And I just haven't told anybody yet. And so I'm like gushing to all you guys right now. And the video is going to be available, and we're going to talk about it in our next show. But I just couldn't like hold it in. I saw like my true form, and I am like an aquatic person. And I've been like basically living in this inflatable hot tub I got. So, like, everything makes sense for the first time.
That's amazing.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's wild, and I just remembered, and I was like, "Oh, I can tell people now." Yes, I'm like Caribbean amphibian.
Oh my god!
This.
We need a T-shirt that says Caribbean amphibian in some way.
Exactly.
Because at first I was like, huh, that's really cool. That's really interesting. And now after hearing that, I'm like, oh, I want to be one.
That's
Ribbon
perfect.
amphibian. Give me a
Mhm.
break.
It was wild. I've never, yeah, I mean, the majority of the astral work that I do is in my dreams, and it's just me. And so it was really cool being in a new experience where I wasn't like, I wasn't this me. It was cool. It was really cool. I'm bringing that energy into this is what I was trying to say, I guess. And all that.
I love it.
But yeah, it's 9:20. Go ahead and hop into the Estes and everything part of the session. I think I'm just gonna follow what I normally do, and use the Tenny sounds on my computer through headphones, normal Estes style. So that'll be blindfold, noise canceling headphones. And I'll be doing that for 3 rounds. So that's about 20. I'll do two rounds is 18. Do we want to do 18 or do we want to do about 20, 25, 26 minutes? What are we thinking for this session?
Well, it is the 18th, and it's the 18th
Oh my-
episode.
Why did I have to? I could have just stopped there. I'm doing 18, obviously.
Yeah.
Perfect. So we'll go for 18 minutes. For me, this will loop twice.
And that'll give us a chance to chat a little bit afterwards too.
Exactly. Yeah. What are y'all wanting to do?
I mean, I always am just here to provide color commentary. So
Garrett,
Is the plan to talk to Vanessa's childhood aliens? That's our
are we gonna?
entities.
I love
think-
it. I think it's a really great opportunity.
Let's do it.
So again, like I said, the 2 soul seeds that I pulled, soul seeds is creative, imaginative, resourceful. The astral plane is dreams, metaphysical, otherworldly. And then, because I couldn't help myself, I have the contact cards. And the one I pulled was the ship's, the tour ship, which is all about like leisure and smooth sailing and being pampered. So let's hope that these entities give you a nice, calm, good time.
A rejuvenative time.
Yes, exactly.
I love it.
Yeah, Estes and chill.
Estes and chill.
Cool.
Garrett, are you going to be Estes and chilling with us too?
I could. I didn't plan on it, but I could.
Okay.
If it, I don't. What do you guys think? What do you?
No
Should we just
pressure.
have Bex do it, or
It's totally up to you.
I'll do it too. I guess I'll try it.
Oh,
Do you-
yeah, I do want to say that Alex got some sick scrying mirror,
Oh, yeah.
and he's going to be using that tonight with the Tenny sounds on repeat. Yeah,
That's
let us know what
cool.
happens. That's great.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Jenny says that they've been dreaming that they're in an underwater cave lately.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I was in multiple during my session. That's cool.
So, Garrett, do you have anything? What are you going to use spirit box wise?
I just have Bex's that she handed off to me when she found the Tenny one. She just like, I don't need this anymore, and she handed it.
That's
to
what
me.
I did.
That's
That's
actually
the truth.
pretty close to what happened.
He was there.
I'm gonna hold on to my bedrock in my fist. And,
Yeah.
There's this rock I was wanting to show y'all because Katie and I were talking about right before our session. We were talking about how the Pleiadians keep coming up and how like it's kind of treacherous researching them because it gets real white savory really fast. And so, but they keep coming up. Like we pulled the card last week, and I found this rock in Port Townsend, and it gives me like serious Pleiadian vibes. And that's right where we played the hydrophone from last week, at least the one that Garrett was listening to. And so I'm just like, this is my WUFO rock now, and I just wanted to showcase it officially. This is like the Pleiadians are hanging out with us. To what capacity we don't know, but they like to party. And the whales and the Syrians are potentially here too. And now we are going to try to reach out to some entities from Vanessa's childhood that she so kindly drew out for us.
Exactly.
And they're white.
Can I see that picture one more time? Okay,
Yeah.
I just pulled Acho.
Ooh, the
the
rock.
first
The Rock. The Rock.
Mhm.
Acho.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah.
Look at that,
And,
y'all. Look at that face.
That face
Yeah.
kind of looks like Acho a little bit.
It
Burn
does.
that into your brain.
It does. It kind of looks similar.
Kind of.
The Rock. That's interesting, though. Of course, I just The Rock.
Yeah, that is.
All right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go.
Yeah. Good.
All right, see you on the other side. Oh, I gotta turn it on first.
Oh, on TikTok, Jesse says, "Can I go to read?" We're actually not doing. We're doing something a little different than standard reads right now. We're Bex is going to be using the Estes method to try to communicate with
I'm gonna
or
turn the sound off.
from aerial entities,
Turn
whether
this
or not they can speak UFOs. We do this every Wednesday, and you're welcome to ask questions at any time that are relevant to the conversation that we may or may not be having.
I need more gear. Just seeing these,
Oh,
just seeing all this, like I need it, and the ADHD way that I need things when I decide that's my new thing.
what you could do is, because you're so good with crafting and sewing. Oh, we just lost Vanessa. Shoot. Darn it.
Oh,
Oh, you're back. Yay.
okay, good.
What happened?
I don't know.
I'm glad you were able to get back in, because I'm not the administrator for the StreamYard. So,
All right, well, I'm not going to touch anything then because
gosh. We have had tech issues pretty regularly when we do this.
okay, so yes, Bex mentioned that, and then Bex mentioned that it would be contagious. I navigate Mercury retrograde always exceptionally well. Usually, really good things happen for me. Things that are beneficial to me, they like all kind of line up really easily. I typically don't have tech issues. This Mercury retrograde, just
Situation.
I'm hearing like the creaking of like a door or something like that.
A situation.
It's been a situation, and I have not been thrilled about it because I like my record of being clean through Mercury retrograde.
First time for everything, I guess.
I mean, yeah.
Well, I was going to say you are so good at like crafting. I've seen some of the cosplay stuff you've done, and the chainmail, of course.
Yes.
It would be cool to like just make up some gear.
She's out this late.
It is late for me. Yeah,
Cavity doors.
You just touched your.
I did.
Yeah.
There's the molars on both sides, up and down. I'm just gonna start writing things down as weird syncs happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talk about this with Jason a lot about how like I wish I had been the type of person growing up that
Hello. Play.
Hello. Is someone there with us?
I'm seeing a like a harbor full of sailboats and fishing boats. It's almost like I'm looking at old pictures of one.
One.
They both just have one.
Yep.
The shoes.
The shoes?
Oh yeah.
The shoes.
Twice.
She said
Were
it twice.
you aware?
Anyone who's watching is welcome to suggest questions to ask.
The associate.
Is anyone here with us?
We are
I'm seeing a night sky
a direction.
through a window. It's one of those windows that slide up, and they have the line, the grid over. And I open the window and I poke my head out. It's very warm, breeze. I look up at the sky.
A whisper.
What direction?
Pack it in.
It totally seems like they're talking to each other.
Yes.
Somebody just commented. Yeah.
Definitely. Something about a car. It's this as well.
Question: how long have you known
That
Vanessa?
night. The names. Radio.
I'm seeing someone like run through a. Excuse me.
Not smart.
I'm seeing someone run through a crowd with these flyers.
We're great.
And they're.
12.
Have you seen this? Have you seen this? It's not a person.
The author is
The author.
alive.
I kind of
Talk
feel like
to me.
playing off each other at this point.
Yes.
Now I'm seeing a field of pink flowers. I don't recognize them. It's almost like a pink Scotch
We'll make
broom. Excuse me.
Abraham.
Why did you choose Vanessa?
That's it.
What's it?
4.
For what?
Alive.
I guess it's good they want you alive.
Thank
The
goodness.
sky is like there's like a very clear ripple through it. It's like a
Maybe.
normal puffy Simpsons cloudy sky. There's a very
There's a
clear
chance
like
to-
ripple of disturbance in it. I'm wondering if I caused it by just touching something wrong.
Oh, yeah. Turn on.
Oh, that's true. There are flowers on Garrett's shirt, pink flowers.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. Are you happy to talk to all of us?
I'm getting some weird like Wizard of Oz vibes, some like Emerald City. Walking through the field, see these pink flowers. I see this
2
weird sky.
something.
I feel like I'm supposed to be following someone.
2 again. I am.
Should we try a word?
What in the world? Do you want to?
Yes, I totally do.
Right now.
I think we have to. Okay, the
know.
first person who suggests a
I'd
word
gladly.
that we can see, that I can see. Whoever's first.
I'm coming alive, I think.
Peanut. Okay. No, wait. Sorry, Sarah was in first with beard. So
The
beard
gate.
beard is going to be the word we're trying to set our intentions to have.
Overhearing a conversation about painting
I
roses.
know
Beard.
when. Right now. Car or something.
I hear another door creak. It's very
I think-
exaggerated and long, like "Ee."
I think Bex's dog might be have just come in her room.
Oh, gotcha.
We were hearing, yeah. Oh no, it was her cat.
I wanna.
Everybody wants to
I'm
play.
seeing water droplets into like a puddle or something, and it's causing a ripple,
The ancient
a circular ripple instead of that.
store.
The one in the sky was like a ribbon, and it was crinkled up in the middle.
Oh, weird voice.
This one's very clearly like a normal puddle water drip, but the puddle is like part oil slick, has that rainbow effect in it.
Beard.
Something's consistently dripping into it.
It hurts.
Where are you?
Dogs talking.
My dog just started whining outside of my door.
How'd you find me?
Surprised?
The back of your mind.
Like in
Is
Alice in Wonderland, they had to paint the roses. Yeah.
home.
Wouldn't the Syrians be from Syria?
Is
the dogs
this
there?
really me?
That dog. Vote.
Seeing it face to face now. Snot all over.
I tried.
Is there anything important you have to tell us before we have to end our session?
I'm hearing the sound through the headphones of my cat's going of like something flying really low overhead, like a
What can you see where you are at?
For a while. I think
something shifted.
Something did shift.
even if I had a lower You're correct.
What's Bex's cat's name? I don't.
Just by sitting here. Quite a situation.
I'm alive. I can handle.
I need you to.
What's tonight's snack?
You can choose. She
Whatever you're hungry.
chooses.
It could be.
A function.
What's your name?
Shielding you.
Is shielding you your name?
Kind of bossy. It's okay. I boss too.
I'm not trying to boss. I'm genuinely curious.
At the function.
I completely apologize if I offended you.
Missing.
Startling.
We are just curious as to your name.
Calling the shots.
Are you in charge?
Don't do that. Out back.
Something's coming up.
More. Around.
Are you on Earth or do you know of it?
Do not
I told you
fret.
more.
Fall on you.
Locust.
You should see them.
Who should we see? Or what should we see?
I got like a weird image of like somewhere maybe in like Utah or Arizona, somewhere where they have a lot of those rock formations naturally. I'm seeing like a bunch of masks or something carved out of those. It's very creepy.
L.A.
Oh yeah, by session just hit 18.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll go ahead and hop out here.
Ooh, I heard screaming.
Chaos.
Yeah, seriously.
He won't eat this. You don't
Let's
have
turn
to.
off the sound here.
Yeah, sorry. You won't eat this?
Is it the pretzel? Because I haven't since we started.
Oh my gosh. Garrett needs a hug for this one, absolutely.
Oh, Garrett's
A rubber stamp.
rubber stamp. Oh, Willow's in here. Hi, girl.
Oh, yeah, that's true. LA has the Vasquez Rocks where a lot of the original Star Trek was filmed.
Oh, right.
Rip.
Yeah. Yeah, Vex was super chill. Well, was more chill. Although a little sassy about who's bossy and who's not.
Love.
Is that 3 rounds in the brain machine for Garrett? I think so, yeah. Hopefully it's not like altering his DNA or something.
All 4.
Vanessa, your entities are next level.
I was
Time
hoping
to run.
Time to run. Are you going someplace? Is it time to leave or end the session?
Too much before then.
I don't know if we're gonna figure out how
A
to get Garrett.
brownie. I'm out.
Are you leaving? Did Bex turn into a cat?
her cat was sitting on
Your
there.
move.
Oh, I missed it. Bex is a cat. Actually, she's a Caribbean amphibian, if I recall correctly.
Griswold.
Griswold.
Racquetball is
Psychically trying to tell Garrett to drop back in.
good.
Did you get a snack, Bex? Good.
I'm really hungry.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I'm trying to read the comments here.
Is anything still here with us or anyone?
Sit down. I got the key
What's the key for?
and we found it. Good.
No, I think he's coming out. You look like the last Starfighter. Do you remember that movie? I bet Garrett will remember it.
Hello?
Did you hear what I just said?
No.
No, I just said you look like the last Starfighter. Do you remember that movie?
Is that the one? I was thinking of the kid with the That's the Flight of the Navigator. Last
Yeah.
Starfighter. Is that the one with the video game?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The
Yeah.
video game was actually like a recruiting tool by the like army of aliens who took this guy into space, and he was the only one who could defeat the enemy armada because he mastered like Space Invaders or something.
Right. I feel like Rick Moranis with this on my head though. Like,
Yes.
all the stuff hanging out. My eyes are watering. I was using that brain machine that Jason made, and
Yeah.
it's intense.
Yeah, we were just wondering how many times you've used it now.
Just like a handful of times, 4 or 5 times. Yeah.
Not
I
enough,
did that first time on TikTok live on the street by the time travel
Right.
mailbox. And I was using the goggles he put it in, and that is intense. Like that's really intense. And like I always felt like I was tripping balls in the true sense, just like fried. Like
Wow.
it was wild. It was really fun, but I was also like terrified because there's like people, there's like a party going on the street and stuff, and I'm like sitting there like holding on to the table. It was like a roller coaster. It was wild. This is like a little bit more subdued, but it still kind of is like intense on my eyes.
Wow.
Oh, that's so wild.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, what
that was
happened?
really, really awesome tonight.
Did it good? Did it?
Oh yeah, it was good. It was like really good tonight.
I felt like I mean, I've only done this a couple times, but I felt better about hearing things
Yeah.
than usual. But I'm always like second guessing it. But
Yeah. No, there was some like next level conversation happening between you guys.
oh, really? Between Bex and I, or
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And between like what we were saying, like there were so many reactions to the stuff we were saying and asking.
huh?
It was good.
Interesting. Do you feel like we talked to Vanessa's buddy or someone else, or
I don't know. What do you think? Vanessa?
any sense of that?
I mean, I kind of do, because it seemed very like playful and communicative, and I feel like that was my experience as a kid.
Right.
I mean, again, I don't remember doing this. This is my mother telling me that I was sitting on the floor babbling up at the stars. But yeah, like I don't know. Again, the thing that I mentioned was that like the dogs talking serious. And then because there was another point too, Garrett, where you had said something about like weird talking or something. I can't even remember exactly what it was, but it was as Bex's cat was meowing. It's like, well, like something from the dog star would probably be like, what is
that?
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's amazing. That's hilarious. Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Cool.
I'm trying to think of things myself too, but I can't like nothing specific hops out at me because there was so much, to be honest.
Well, and also, so I took some frantic little notes. The what's your name, and then shielding you. And when you were asking, oh, is your name shielding you? Kind of bossy.
Yeah.
It's okay, I'm bossy too.
I actually said that. It's okay.
Awesome.
I got video of this conversation and the video didn't record. We'll have this whole thing up on YouTube for how long? 24 hours?
Yeah, around them.
And you know, for our patrons, these are always like available in perpetuity. So
Whatever.
yeah, Bex heard a door creaking and Garrett said the word door.
Weird.
Yeah. What's the kitty's name, Bex, again?
Willow.
Willow, that's right. Somebody was asking. Willow was very vocal.
Oh jeez. I forgot that she was stuck in her box again. She gets into like this box of evergreens that I make smoke sticks out of. They're just drying, and she'll crawl underneath them and nap, and then she can't get out. I have to let her out. So that's probably exactly what happened. But she managed to get out because when I got the pizza, she was right there. But I felt her brush against me, and I was like, "Oh!" It all came to me. Did not expect it. This is an interesting session where I don't really remember the visuals that I had. They seem very sporadic. It just boop, 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 next thing. It wasn't like as much of a journey. It was just flash of this memory, flash of this memory. Like, not memory, but flash of a moment, you know. It was wild.
Yeah.
Very wild.
You mentioned a harbor, and you mentioned seeing like the kind of rock formations that you see in the Southwest and like Utah and stuff, but masks made out of them somehow. And then somebody said like, "Where are you?" And Garrett immediately said LA, like right after that. And
I remember hearing that very clear. That was very clear.
And that was, and one of our viewers mentioned that in LA they have those rocks where they filmed Star Trek, those really famous rocks that are that sort of painted kind of like that. And they filmed a lot of, I mean, not just Star Trek, but
yeah,
a lot of stuff was filmed there.
Holy cow, that's wild.
That was another good one.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. What are those rocks again?
That was really dry. Yeah, this is a weird, I can't remember a thing. I just remember like right as I got done, I was like, I have to eat something. So forgive me, but I was just like, I have to eat right now.
The Vasquez rocks is what they're called.
Oh, he said, is it in Malibu Creek State Park? I've camped there.
Really?
So I lived in LA a couple of different times for about a year each time. But the first time I had a friend from Kentucky fly in, and we went camping in a different spot up the 101 every night. We started at Malibu Creek, and it was because it was the only campground that was available. But I only saw it at night. And then in the morning, I was too hungover to care what it looks like, unfortunately. But yeah, so Malibu Creek, interesting. They filmed the Planet of the Apes there. That's a sink, in my opinion. Yeah, I think you're right, Nilo Moon. I think you're right. Kai says, when Bex said shielding you, I literally pulled self and protect from my Earthbound Oracle deck from Wooden Tarot. Wow, that's pretty cool, Kai. Wow.
There was one point, and I don't know if it was like something with my eyelashes, but I felt like I saw these white like lines, and it kind of felt like those Fresno night crawlers. You know,
Whoa.
and they were kind of like coming into focus, and I was like trying to like, you know, look past them, you know, not like look at directly so they didn't dissipate, you know, like if I looked at them, then it would change. But it was creepy, and I was like, is this like some weird thing with my, you know, just seeing some light coming through, because the light changes a lot on those glasses, like the pattern changes, and so all of a sudden it's like really white, and then it's like more wavy. But that was a really weird thing. It was almost like they were coming into focus, and they felt like those Fresno Nightcrawlers. I don't know if people have seen those. Like they just look like white walking legs like this. So that was kind of interesting. That was a weird.
That's wild.
Those glasses are so weird because they feel sometimes too like you're like in the dark, and all of a sudden there's like a spotlight on you, kind of feeling like that kind of like fire in the sky, like the light. You know that. It's not that constantly, but occasionally it'll go black, and then that will show up, you know, and you're just like, whoa, okay. They're really weird. It's a really weird effect how they, yeah. Anyway.
There's this, I have one memory that you kind of triggered from saying that, and it was, I saw some weird, like distorted, it was a normal blue sky, puffy clouds, and like these weird pink flowers. And I was walking through this field, and I could see like a ribbon form, but it was like a ribbon of distortion, or like what would happen if like the lighting suddenly changed a little bit, but it was just a very small strip of the sky. It was very bizarre, but it was like just a little ribbon of distortion. I couldn't quite make out what what that deal was.
Wow,
Weird.
Mhm.
But
that was
Yeah.
cool.
it was wild. It's weird that I don't really remember a whole lot.
Mhm.
That's like
I want to know, Vanessa, are you going to make it now a thing to like go and try to talk to all these these entities? Are you gonna like come up with some method for contacting each of them and like learn about them all? Or do you think they were all the same? Are they kind of different pictures?
That's a good question. Because there are, like I said, there are multiple drawings, and it's usually several different heads on one page. I want to say like at least like between like 3 and 5 on each of these. But like I said, I haven't seen them in a while, so I desperately want to go home and get these. But no, my brain machine is coming on Friday, so this I will do what I can to communicate with them, because so I've never seen an alien, but I did see a ghost when I was growing up, and I was about 7. I was on the like porch in my childhood home, and I'm looking out into the backyard, and all of a sudden I see this energy figure, a white energy, just like human shaped, just running slow-mo through the backyard. So when you started talking about seeing white legs, that's the first thing I thought of. I saw that twice in my childhood home, once in the backyard, and then once I saw it run in the basement.
Ooh.
Wow. May I ask
Sorry.
why
Yes.
that's imprinted as ghost in your mind?
And just that was my frame of reference when I was younger. Because I didn't like UFOs were the interest later, right? Ghosts was earlier, and ghosts was earlier because I think for whatever reason that was more in the lexicon, right? In terms of exposure, at 7,
Yeah, that makes
ghosts
sense.
were a thing, as opposed to like when I was 11 or so, and then it was aliens. Yeah, it could be, it could all be the same. It could be the entities, but just expressing themselves that way, right?
That's wild how they presented themselves to you, whatever they are. That's weird.
Right. Yes. Yes.
I wonder why the locations too, the basement and the backyard.
Yes.
Wild.
Yeah, it was, and it's scared. I was so scared because it was so outside of my frame of reference for what reality is supposed to be, and that Bex, I think I talked to you about that, like I think my panic brain since then has just been like, guess what, you're never seeing anything, and it's only in my dreams where I get weird information or downloads or something like that. Like I don't typically see or hear things. My dreams are wild though.
That's so relatable.
Yes.
I wonder if that I mean, this is kind of a longer discussion, but we talked about that in the Discord about like how some people see things and other people don't, and how much, like what we were coming up with ideas and theories about why some people see things. And what you're saying there, like you said, your brain doesn't want, like, maybe as a kid didn't want to see that stuff anymore, but maybe dreams feels like a more safer place to experience that, because there's an explanation for it. At least it's like a dream, and that's just interesting how you said that. Your brain said no, because I feel that some ways too. Like I haven't seen things as a kid, but I was also terrified of them, and I always have felt like, is it because I'm so terrified that I've just prevented myself from seeing it? Like I've like, nope, I can't. I'm a nope person. I can't deal. It's too much for me.
That I think anyone who has, as I do, a history of panic attacks, a history of anxiety. I talked about this with Kiki in the podcast. Like, okay, so we are these whatever receivers. We are experiencing higher dimensions, other experiences, but ultimately we're these 3D meat sacks, and the organism wants to protect itself. And so I think me seeing something and having that threat response, my body was just like, nope, we're shutting this down. And yes, for whatever reason, dreams are okay. And I think because there's that expectation, dreams are supposed to be wild anyway. But I also have lucid dreamed multiple times, not trying. I've never had to try for that. It's just every once in a while I'm in a dream and I realize I'm dreaming, and then I determine where things go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have a little more freedom there, and I think it's because my brain can relax. And
you know, I wonder that what it makes me think of, especially what Garrett was saying about being afraid of these things. So there's this kind of, I guess it's kind of a mythic trope that, but it's also, it's found in like protection rituals a lot. When you have, you know, when you're facing, so like in certain Muslim traditions, there's the jinn. And when you face them, the only way to like defeat them in these certain cases is if you face them with perfect courage. Yeah. And I think you hear that a lot, like perfect courage, like in the Never-Ending Story when he had to like walk through the sphinxes.
Right. It's also an Ernest Goes to Camp, I think.
Yeah, no, seriously. What I'm wondering is like,
which I have
right there,
which may be problematic now that I'm thinking about it, but I think there is the same kind of sentiment. But I think it's the same kind of idea. Yeah.
But I'm wondering if it's like, it's not so much that you have to have courage because what you're facing is evil or bad or like gonna get you. It's more that you have to have perfect courage because you have to like be what's the word I'm looking for? Like you have to acknowledge that you are prepared to deal with whatever that is for yourself. Yeah. Does that make any sense?
To me, yes, because it's this idea of quieting that reactive lizard brain and facing it anyway, just moving forward, saying, okay, this again, to not react to that adrenal response, that threat response of just, again, I think my conception of magic is very similar, that like an effective magical working requires perfect confidence. You have to believe this is the only outcome you are going to have, period. And if you walk forward, that's why I love the Fool and the tarot. Yes. You walk off the cliff, you get wings. You fly, you get what you want. But you have to have that belief that this is the only thing that is going to happen. And I'm going to walk as if it will. And then it does. And then that's a nice little feedback loop for further magical workings.
Yeah. And that's why the card right after the Fool is the Magician.
Yes, exactly.
Fool just walks off the cliff and just keeps on walking.
That's it.
Style.
That's it, exactly.
And the Fool came up a lot for us when we first started WUFO.
That's right, yeah.
It's been, Emmett. Yeah, it's been like a guiding card for us. Oh, Emmett, is it about that time, friends?
Might be. Usually let me go out in the backyard and do my business while you're looking for UFOs.
Yeah, if you're on the Pacific end of the country, of the world, it is time to go look up. Let us know if you see anything. If you want to post pic in your night sky or your fun WUFO t-shirt. I don't think it's lame to wear your own merch. Just throwing that out there. I've heard a lot of deep cuts about that recently, but I don't really care. I'm very proud of it. So, but yeah, everyone have a good night, and we will see you next week. Feel free to go to wufo.watch/donate and help our friends in Buffalo.
Yeah.
And yeah, use #WUFO for anything related.
Yeah, and make some UFO water tonight because we're gonna have a special use for it sometime in the next couple of weeks.
Yes, we are gonna use the WUFO water. Yes. Thanks, Vanessa, so much.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you. This has been such a delight.
Yeah.
So amazing.
Good. All right. Good night,
everyone.
Good night.
Thanks. Bye.